So this is part of the midterm, is to write all the pitch notes and the rhythm notes on Carnival of the animals and answer some of the questions. So now let's see the questions here. Let me add. First, you need to write all the rhythm notes on the score, all the rhythm notes, with the rest and no rest. So how are we going to do? So here we have a whole note. There is an abbreviation here, but just whole note is enough. Here's the whole rest, the whole note. Simplify here, we write 3 chord notes, and chord rest with this session. Just write this chord notes and 1 chord rest. Right here, so chord notes and chord rest. Let's just repeat over and over, so you just copy and paste. Now, if you read the preface of the Muzio Clementi, preface, you're going to find all those from the metric. You have dynamic here. Have crescendo, so you write crescendo. To increase the dynamic, crescendo. You have this symbol here, also is crescendo. So you write crescendo. This symbol is crescendo. The opposite is decrescendo. See, have the C-R-E-S-C is crescendo. Crescendo, piano, have a piano crescendo. Piano and the symbol of crescendo. Let me put in a different color here. Blue. This is from the page 7 to 8, okay? 1 to 7. So this whole rest is right here. So those dashes here, unfortunately, we cannot see how many near me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 dashes. This is the first dash is for the 8th note, 16, 32nd, and 64th note. So here the 64th note by Camille Saint-Saëns. So you write all the rhythm notes. So now you have a pattern. You have 3 8th notes, 1 8th rest. So you write that. Right, 8th notes plus 1 8th rest. You write 3 8th notes, 3 8th notes, and 1 8th rest. Just copy and paste. And he starts with the 2 quarter note, 1 8th note, and 1 8th rest. So here's going to be different. It's going to be 2 quarter notes, 1 8th note, 1 8th rest. Or 2 quarter notes, 1 8th note, and 1 8th rest. 1 2 quarter note, 1 8th note, 1 8th rest. And this is 3 8th rest, 1 8th. 3 8th note and 1 8th rest. So we just copy and paste here. 3 8th note and 1 8th rest. And you do this for all the so this is crescendo, crescendo. That symbol is the symbol of crescendo. Have the tie, this tie here is for legato. It's not for the add in the tempo, but to play smooth, connected with crescendo. So you come and add crescendo here. And so on. You have fortissimo, 2 F's is fortissimo, fortissimo. You just play on the bass clef. Another fortissimo here. This is only staccato, that is 1 quarter note and 3 quarter rest. All rest. Eighth note for the staccato. That is 3 quarter. That is the martelli. The piano is this, like this triangle is 1 quarter sound plus 3 quarter rest. So what's the 1 quarter of the 8th note? The 32nd note is the 32nd note here and 3 32nd rest. This is 1 8th note, 1 8th rest, 1 quarter rest. The last one is half a rest. So you write this: eighth note, eighth rest, quarter rest, and half a rest. Same thing in this line. Allego non troppo, not too fast. So forte, whole rest, half a rest, quarter rest, eighth note, 16th note, quarter note, eighth note, 2/16, eighth note, sorry, 2/16, quarter note, eighth note, 2/16, quarter note. Those quarter note has accent. So you write accent, quarter note, accent. Use accent. Write one per measure, so don't write in one by one, but you write one per measure. So just paste. Yeah, and here you write 1/8, 2/16, 1/4. So write eighth note, 2/16 note, quarter note, eighth note, 2/16 note, and go again. So eighth note, 2/16 note, quarter note, eighth note, 2/16 note, quarter note. If you just write quarter, does not mean that's note or rest. You need to write quarter note, eighth note, eighth rest, and so on. Here does not have eighth rest, I just wrote eighth note and 2/16 note. Okay. So here's quarter note, eighth note, 2/16 note. And the quarter note with accent. All those notes with the accent. So now let's listen. So you write here, I do not write all, but you write whole rest here, okay? Now let me. That begins from the Carnival of the Animals. This is from the Utah Youth Symphony. And here's the they love to watch that video network.
Nearly 100 years ago, a French composer named Saint-Saëns wrote a wonderfully witty musical fantasy called The Carnival of the Animals. His music describes many of the animals in this zoo. That's why we're here. So join me along with the whimsical verse of Ogden Nash, the Mormon Youth Symphony, and a whole zoo full of animals for the Carnival of the Animals.
The Carnival of the Animals, starring Gary Burghoff, featuring the music of Camille Saint-Saëns, the verse of Ogden Nash, the Mormon Youth Symphony.
Camille Fesson was racked with pains when people addressed him as Saint Sains. He held the human race to blame because it could not pronounce his name. So he turned with metronome and fife to glorify other forms of life. Be quiet, please, for here begins his salute to feathers, fur, and fins.
Just want to show how to play that whole note, that four ledger lines, four bented lines. I'm not sure how to say that. Let me go back here on the pianist start to play.
To glorify other forms of life. Be quiet, please, for here begins his salute to feathers, fur, and fins.
See, that's the way to play when you have those whole notes with those lengthened lines, four lengthened lines. Those are the first violins, clarinet and the flute, violas, the cellos, and the back of the basses.
Lion is the king of beasts and husband of the lioness. Gazelles and things on which he feasts address him as your highness. There are those who admire that roar of his in the African jungles and velds. But I think wherever the lion is, I'd rather be somewhere else.
We got the cellos playing. Now is the second movement of the chicken.
The rooster is a roistering hoodlum. His battle cry is cock-a-doodlum. Hands in pockets, cap over eye, he whistles at pullets passing by. Have you ever heard wild, which scientists call the onager? It sounds like the laugh of a child or a hepcat on a harmonica. But do not sneer at the wild. There's a method to his hee-haw. For with maidenly blush and accent mild, the answers she-haw. Come crown my brow with leaves of myrtle. I know the tortoise is a turtle. Come carve my name in stone immortal. I know the tortoise is a turtle. I know to my profound despair, I bet on one to beat a hare. I also know I'm now a pauper because of his turtly torpor.
So we're going to listen some theme of the can here. They strings that are playing the theme of the can.
Elephants are useful friends, equipped with handles at both ends. They have a wrinkled, moth-proof hide. Their teeth are upside down outside. If you think the elephant preposterous, you've probably never seen a rhinoceros.
The bass, the piano.
Kangaroo can jump incredible. He has to jump because he's...
Okay, now what's the name of that notes from the kangaroo that you have those little notes? It's acatiatura or appoggiatura? That is on the movement number 6, the kangaroos.
I could not eat a kangaroo, but many fine Australians do. Those with cookbooks as well as boomerangs prefer him in tasty kangaroo meringues.
Those notes. Those notes. Those acatiatura. Yes, acatiatura. You can find the name on the Art of Playing Piano by Muzio Clementi on the preface, at the end of the preface. aquarium.
Some fish are minnows, some are whales. People like dimples, fish like scales. Some fish are slim, some are round. They don't get cold, they don't get drowned. But every fishwife fears for her fish. What we call mermaids, they call merfish. In the world of mules, there are no rules.
What is it? That's higher sound, the harmonics.
Who live bohemian lives. They fail as husbands and as wives. Therefore, they cynically disparage everybody else's marriage.
How many pitch notes the clarinet play on this movement? On the cuckoo in the depths of the woods. That's the movement number 9. How many pitch notes, how many different pitch notes the clarinet plays? Yeah, now clarinet.
Puccini was Latin and Wagner Teutonic. And birds are incurably philharmonic. Suburban yards and rural vistas are filled with avian Andrew sisters. The skylark sings a rondelay. The crow sings the road to Mandalay. The nightingale sings a lullaby, and the seagull sings a gulliby. That's what shepherds listened to in Arcadia before someone invented the radio. Well, hello.
That's the flute. What's the instrument that represents the aviaries, the volieri? So we have the flute. So the next one is the pianists.
Some claim that pianists are human and quote the case of Mr. Truman. Saint-Saëns, upon the other hand, considered them a scurvy band. Ape-like they are, he said, and simian, instead of normal men and women.
The question, how many of the movements use the most scales on this on the carnival? So we have one is the pianists, in the wild donkeys too you have. In the introduction you have two on the last movement, and now let's see the next one. The senior. The cello with the piano. The one. Sorry, the faucet, not the piano.
At midnight in the museum hall, the fossils gathered for a ball. There were no drums or saxophones, but just the clatter of their bones. A rolling, rattling, carefree circus of mammoth polkas and mazurkas.
On the fossils, what theme can we recognize on this movement? And the xylophone represent what animal?
Pterodactyls and brontosauruses sang ghostly prehistoric choruses. Amid the mastodonic wassail, I caught the eye of one small fossil. Cheer up, sad world, he said, and winked. It's kind of fun to be extinct.
Dit vrienden sono de una voce poco fa by Rossini. Claudio suando, cello and piano.
Swan can swim while sitting down. For pure conceit, he takes the crown. He looks in the mirror over and over and claims to have never heard of Pavlova.
Where was presented this concert, the concert on this video? How many violins are playing? How many violas? How many cellos? How many bass? How many clarinets? How many French horn? How many bassoon? How many trumpet? How many pianos? And how to call the gentleman that is in front of the orchestra and what he does.
Now we reach the grand finale, Animale Carnivale. Noises new to sea and land issue from a skillful band. All the strings contort their features, imitating crawly creatures. All the brasses look like mumps from blowing oompa, oompa, umps. In outdoing Barnum and Bailey and Ringling, Sanson has done a miraculous thingling.
So here's the plate that was presenting this concert. Olá, Dona Flora. If you could try to put your dog to watch this video, you shall see how fun it would be. Zoe loves this video. She loves, it's her favorite. Anyhow, the questions are, how many movements use the scale on this music? So now let's find out. So you need to have the score